right, so you're podcasting using Chrome, and now you're up to your step where you're going to create your own podcast cover art. And this is a pretty fun part because you can show your personality, your creativity, and you can really kind of have fun doing this. So I got this from a lady named Jen Giffen, and this is a more step-by-step direction to how she goes about creating her podcast cover art. Now, there's a couple different ways you can get to a new Google drawing, but I'm going to suggest that you use your drive first, because then it's going to be organized. So wherever you're going to keep this, whatever folder, so I'm going to call this the podcast with Chrome folder. I'm going to open my folder up. And then when I create anything new in this folder, it's going to save there. So I'm going to come up to new, and under new, there's more. And in more, one of the first things will be Google Drawings. All right. So I'm going to click create and share. And here's my new Google drawing. All right. So this is what it looks like. Notice right away, it's just a square. You can change sizes and get a whole bunch of crazy details here. But I want to show you first how you're going to take a look at the background. So this is your canvas. Anything off to the sides here isn't going to show up when you're done, okay, when you export this as a picture. So right now, by default, the background to your image is blank. So if you want to have just your word art and whatever, great. Leave it like this. If you want to change the colors, all right, you are simply going to either hold down Control or right click, and then you're going to come to background. All right, when you change backgrounds, you can do a solid color, right? You can do backgrounds, and you can do the gradients, which is kind of like the waves of color, right? Whichever way you want. You can really customize your color, either solid or gradient, right? So if you want to do a solid color, you can kind of just drag around and find the color you think you want. So play around with this. Find a background you like. I personally, there's something about these dark gradients that I like. I don't know. I like a dark background. All right, so you're going to set your background first. Once you're done, the second step you're going to do then is insert word art for your title. And I like word art like this rather than just a text box because it really pops with word art. All right, so what you'll do is you're going to come on up here to your insert menu, your insert, and you're going to do insert word art. And then just type in your podcast title. So we'll call this like Podcast Bro. Okay, and hit enter. Now, by default, it's already set up in this Arial, which I'm not a huge fan of Arial. I don't know why. I just don't like, I think it's kind of plain. All right, so if you come up here, you can change the font just like you would at anything else. You can change the font of your word art, change the sizing, make it bigger. Just like anything else, if you want to customize the colors, you can come on up here and you can decide, maybe you want it to be white and you're going to go with a little patriotic theme. So you'll make it blue with white outlines. How about that? So this is my fill of my colors. And then here is the outline colors. All right. Notice blue with a little thick, thin outline. All right. You could also go ahead and make your outline a little thicker. Right. So have some fun, explore, play around, find something you like. You can also, if you highlight this is done with any picture or word art, you can format your options. All right. So there's a couple different options you can do. It says like size and rotation. This will change things around. But I want to show you two different things here, the drop shadow and the reflection. So you can put a reflection on, right, where it looks a little bit like it's reflecting in water. You can make your reflection transparent. See how it looks just like a little different if you want to. You can change it how far your reflection is away. And then underneath my picture here, I'm going to drag myself over. I don't know why there's two of me now. Underneath my picture, you can change the size of your reflection, make it bigger. All right. One of the other options is this drop shadow. And again, you can click on your little arrow and you can customize it. You can make it darker. I always like to make it fully opaque. You can change how far it is. Get rid of that blur if you want to, so it's nice and clean. So now you have your title, which really pops. The second thing you're going to do then, the third thing, right? So the first thing is you set your background color. You've created your title with word art. Now you're going to come down and put your, any other information you need. You're going to use a text box. All right. And you can put this anywhere you want on your screen. You're going to insert text, just draw your text box. And then you're going to just put all of your text in here. And again, same thing. You can change your format, your fonts. If you don't like the fonts they have in here, if you click on more fonts, you'll get a whole bunch of options from Google's font library, so you can really customize this thing and make it what you like. So I don't know, this is kind of a cool one here, right? So change the size, whatever, change the color. And you can drag this around, put it wherever you want. All right. Last thing you're going to want to make sure you do, and you can do this, at any step in the process, is you want to add your own images. Now, be careful here because a lot of these images are going to be copyrighted, and you don't want to just go to Google and search anything and put it out there because there's a chance you could get dinged for copyright infringements. And I know it doesn't seem like you have that chance, but it's just not the right thing to do. You don't want to steal somebody else's work. So you can come up to this thing, to this image icon here, and you can click search the web. Anything you find within Google quite often is royalty free, so you won't have to use it. You won't have to pay to use it. And so maybe you want to just decide like, oh, I like this podcast, and you can insert your icon. All right. Now, there's a whole bunch of different options you can make for getting your icon, setting it back in the background, make sure it looks the way you want. I can help you with that. Same thing over here. You have your drop shadow, just like you did with your text. You also have your reflection, just like we did with our text. All right. So you have a whole bunch of different things that if you want to really get into it, you can. But the last thing you need to know is how to get this into your slide deck, because that's how you're going to share your podcast with everybody. You're going to share it in the slide deck. So we're going to have to export this as a picture. So we'll give it a title, call it cover art or whatever you might want to call it. We're going to come up here and we're going to do File, Download, and we're going to download it as one of two things. You can do a JPEG or a PNG, and it's an image. You have to download it as a picture. So I don't know why I always prefer PNGs. All right, so there's my PNG, and you're going to go to whatever slide deck your teacher has assigned for you to add your podcast cover art to. So for us here, let's just pretend that it's this one. All right. Absolute easiest thing you can do is you can just drag your picture right up onto your slide deck. And once my computer stops lagging, you're going to see it's going to create this image. And then you can resize it. You can see here, I resized my image so that I can put it wherever I want to. You can make it as big or as large as you'd like. And that's it. That's your 5 steps to creating your podcast cover with Google Drawings, right? Just to rehash again, first thing you're going to do is you're going to create a new Google Drawing and set the background image, set background color, Second thing you'll do is you're going to insert your word art as your title. Third thing, insert any other text you need at the bottom with the text box. Fourth, insert pictures. Make sure you're using pictures that have Creative Commons licenses. You're not stealing everybody else's works. And then the fifth thing, export it as a picture, put in the slide deck. If you need any help doing any of this stuff, by all means, reach out to your teacher or reach out to me.